Huh. Look at that. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes, it's pretty good. Oh, didn't see you there. Welcome to the December 2013 episode of the MKA USA Newscast. It's the last one of 2013. And you know, I was just, you just caught me reading the Mujahid, the latest issue. And I thought, hey, well, while you're here visiting as I read this, let's go ahead and briefly flip through the pages and see what it is. Now, if you haven't received it yet in the mail, let somebody know about that, because I received this a few days ago and it is pretty good. This is the latest issue of Mujahid, and at first I didn't recognize it. It's got, you know, it's using that whole new graphics situation that's going on with the font and the, you know, the very clean and simple layout here. There's no picture, as you can see, on the front or the back, which caught me off guard, because usually I see a picture, but there are pictures throughout. So it is pretty interesting. Now, on the front there are 4 of these stories, the headlines that are listed there. You can see Jalsa 2013, Letter from Huzur, Arab Spring Interview, Oklahoma Disaster Relief. You know, also it says the number 13 under a snowflake on the top left corner if you look very closely in your issue. I'm not sure what that means. Probably the snowflake is the winter, 13 is 2013, so I'm no detective, but I think that's what it is. So the first page is a letter from Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, Ayyadullah bin Aziz, to Sadr MKA, and it's a very nice letter, definitely worth checking out. He thanks Sadr Sahib for a gift that was given to him, and I'm not going to give away everything, so, you know, what is that gift? So you have to read it to find out. And as well as prayers as well, you know, he mentions. So it is from Huzur, that letter. So the next page is importance of service, the theme of that page. You can see a verse from Surah Maryam, and also a hadith regarding the importance of service. Also, the next page contains a quote from Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam, and then we see a topic of sacrifice that's also covered, which is a great article regarding the different types of sacrifices. It mentions, you know, life, time, honor, wealth. Oklahoma disaster. A lot of Khuddam participated in helping the victims of the Moore, Oklahoma tornado that occurred over there. These are first-hand accounts, and it's actually from a few different people. I mean, the total Khuddam that participated were 50, and the total volunteer man hours ended up being 3,000. So that's a lot of Khuddam and a lot of man hours that went into this, and you can actually hear personal accounts from those who went there and what they saw. You know, so it's one of those things, even the picture that it shows here, just the devastation is just like, you know, ridiculous. You know, how much damage there was. But you know, these guys, they went out and they helped the victims out there. Some stories about Jalsa and regarding the khidmat aspect, personal experience from another khadim. And so there's some Jalsa, you know, content in there. Right, so there's this really interesting article in here regarding the Arab Spring. So there's it says interview with Ahmed Abu Safat about the Arab Spring and why Ahmadiyyat is the solution for the people there. So this is actually pretty interesting. It's a Q&A format, so it seems to be, you know, question and then answer. How did you come to know about Ahmadiyyat? Why did you convert? This is an interview with, now this gentleman is an Algerian-Palestinian convert to Islam, Ahmadiyya. He's been an Ahmadi Muslim for several years and has helped convert many of his family members and a few of his friends. So learn about him and his thoughts about the Arab Spring, about Egypt, about the Arab world, about Hezbollah. I mean, it goes into some interesting aspects in here. Okay, next thing is the Qudam events. There's some Qudam events that are mentioned here. Habitat for Humanity in Austin, how the Qudam there were helping those people out with that program. Also in Houston was a food bank volunteer effort. July 4th parade in Chicago West. So it kind of talks a lot about different service-oriented events that and programs that Qudam participated around the country. And obviously it's just a fraction. I mean, you can't fit all the stuff that Qudam do in a small magazine like this. So it's, you know, obviously just a fraction of all that stuff. Now there's this really interesting article. I'm calling all of the articles interesting because they are. But one of those interesting articles is a kind of a personal journey regarding, well, let's put it this way, I'll just read the title. Reflections on the Life of Rohan R.J. Law. Now this is a guy I wish I knew because the story here about this person who became Ahmadi is just really amazing. I mean, just the kind of life he led and how he changed his life around. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's really really interesting, really interesting person. So he really goes into some detail and some personal accounts of this person, and he actually had passed away. So it's there's an obituary here for him too. So so check that out. Just moving right along here. There's and you know what I've noticed? There's a lot of personal stories in here. So that's really cool, and that's kind of what I like to read, is the real personal stories, you know, journeys through life and experiences and challenges and what choices people made. So that's actually touched upon also in this next article, Big Sign in a Small Town, from Naveed Khan. So and the story starts when he was 6 years old, and talks about some challenges in that area and growing up. So check that out. Okay, so that's a few pages on that. I was glued to that article because that was pretty amazing. Humble advice for the blessed month of Ramadan. So now this issue seems to kind of talk about the whole year, if not just a portion of the year. So this is kind of a flashback to Ramadan. Obviously Ramadan is over, but this article is very nice as well. Let's see here. There's also a Spanish section from our brother Usman Villegas. He writes an article, Ramadan Especial, and that's in Spanish. Okay, and then there's also an article in Urdu at the end, so that's definitely worth the read. I don't want to give too much away, but I talked to one of the staff members, and if you're able to read Urdu, definitely read it. If you can't read Urdu, then you know, ask somebody. Hey, please read this to me, translate it to me. You know, that's definitely worth the read as well. It is a blast from the past, so definitely check that out. And that is it. That is pretty much the Mujahid, and it's right there. So definitely check that out. It should be in your mailbox, and if it's not, then I don't know, do something about it. Talk to somebody. Or yeah, I don't really know how to end this segment, so I'm just gonna we'll edit this out, right? So that's the Mujahid. That's the front and that's the back, and we just kind of did a brief look. Definitely check it out. It's not at your local bookstore. So that's the latest issue of the Mujahid, coming to a mailbox near your house, if not your house. That doesn't make sense. So that's this issue of the Mujahid. Find it at a mailbox near you, but don't go into other people's mailboxes because that's against the law. So find it at your mailbox. Until next time, keep reading, keep checking out the website mkausa.org. You know us on Twitter, Muslim Youth USA, same name on YouTube. Assalamu alaikum.